you know you're an empath, right? You know this. You know you're a light worker, right? Like you deeply internally know this about yourself, right? Because I deeply internally knew this about myself years ago when I read about empaths. I was like, is that me? But at the time I was reading it because I bumped into the fact that I was in a narcissistically abusive relationship. Which reminds me, you can get my book Happily Ever After. Anyway, and that is how I found out that I was an empath. By total coinkydink. Well, I'm sure it was perfectly aligned from the universe for me to understand who I am, right? Because one of the major things as an empath or a highly sensitive or a light worker, I love the term super soul, so I'm gonna use super soul, right? So the only way I discovered that I was a super soul is by finding out that I'm with a narcissist, only to discover that most likely the fact that I'm with a narcissist most likely simply meant that I'm an empath. Like it was just the natural, attraction between these two, and the natural, like, this is the marriage made in hell, basically, right? Like this is what it looked like. And that's how I discovered I was an empath. So I started to really search and get to know, and it just seemed like the empath was like hopeless, right? It was like, oh, what? I'm always going to feel other people's energies. I'm always going to take it on as my own. I'm always going to attract narcissists. I'm always going to go around wanting to heal and be of service. And, and it was such a deflated, really, that's it? This is who I am? And I'm going to have to live with it, with the pains and the abuse and the traumas, and that's it? I'm just here to be of service to the world and take and shift their energies as I go to hell? I was like, this isn't right. It made, whatever I was reading, the article, it just made me feel like it was hopeless. Like I was hopeless. It was hopeless. My life was hopeless. So, of course, this was 15 years ago. Anyway, as life progressed forward, and I started to do my own work and take a ton of workshops here and there and keep wanting to certify myself left, right, and center so that, and get to know who I am and work with clients and all that fun. It was actually fun, right? It was so much fun to absorb all this information once known. However, I've come now to a beautiful understanding of what super souls are here to do. Yes, we all have this craving to be of service, to bring light, to bring happiness to others, this deep craving to I want to make this person happy and this person happy and my family happy, and I just want to be of service to everybody. If I can only make everybody else happy, it'll make me feel so happy, right? Then I can have a safe world to be in, right? Then I can have a safe world to be in because I absorb everyone's feelings. In time, and in time, what happened was, as I evolved, shifted, gained perspective, started to work with my younger self, inner child timelines. You can watch the video. I have it linked up here for you to take a sneak peek or watch it. It's actually amazing on what does inner child work look like, how to use it, where to go, what to do with it, and what does it mean, and when is the best time for it to be done. So I would recommend after watching this video to go watch that. However, for now, as I started to slowly remove the dust off of me, and I started to have clarity as to who I am, and my boundaries were clear, and I started to trust myself a lot more, I recognized that a lot of families on this planet, nucleus families, have a light worker, a super soul in that family, right? We have been put into family dynamics to help shift the lineage of that family, to shift the dynamics and the lineage of that entire family into a lighter space, because there must have been a lot of darkness in there. You'll notice that there's a lot of toxicity, a lot of narcissism, a lot of abuse, there's a lot of dysfunction within the lineage of the two families that met to bring us in, right? So we come in already knowing we're meant to be of service, like we're going to be here to help bring light, right? However, when we do enter into this dimension of time, this earth plane, we need to understand what it's like to be a human with those limiting beliefs that the generations, our family generations had suffered or gone through. Of course, it comes to us through our DNA, right? That's a whole other video. But at the same time, we got to experience what it's like to be a human who has suffered pain, right? Who has accumulated limiting beliefs. Therefore, we forget, but we still have this constant urge. So we forget that this is what we're here for. We're not to put ourselves down in blame and shame. That's not what we're meant to do, but that's the experience we have, so we can feel, what does shame feel like? What does blame feel like? What does guilt feel like? What do all these human feelings feel like that cause this family dynamics and lineages to act and to react the way that they do, to be this abusive, to be this cruel, right? It's through these emotions that we experience, right? So they're experiencing those shame that they're going through and whatever, and reflecting it in an awful way due to their own pain. We, on the other hand, don't react the same way, right? We don't react the same way. If anything, we shrivel up and we just try to entertain as much as possible, make sure everyone's feeling better, because we know deep inside in our heart of hearts, this is what we're here for. So as we go through the experiences in our life, being in such toxicity, not knowing who we are, we delete so many parts of ourselves to please everybody around. So we become people pleasers and codependents, right? To please everybody, because we start losing sight of who we are, right? Losing sight of who we are and hating our shadow self and not understanding why we're here and feeling so alone on this planet and nobody gets us and we're completely alone in our family dynamics. It's this whole entire journey is to understand where they're coming from, right? And to gather back and to release and know how to release it within us in time. We learn, this is how we let go. This is how we release. This is how we free ourselves. This is how we remember who we are. And we go through that as we go through our own personal transformation, which could take years to figure out, right? Which is called the awakening. Years, as we start to do that kind of shifting within ourselves, and we know how to heal our own wounds and our own traumas and go inside and bring the light back in and put the spotlights on our shadow selves, then and only then can we actually be of any use to that family lineage, that family dynamics. We have to understand it, heal it, to easily know how to heal them. But we can heal it through ourselves for them. We don't have to do it for them. We don't have to go, okay, now I figured it out. What you do is you sit with your inner child. So sit down, and they're not going to listen to you, right? That's what we hoped we could do, right? We had a lot of intuitive answers for them. We were denied our intuition. We were denied our own truth. We were made to feel less than. We were made to feel we were too much. We were made to feel everything but ourselves, right? And we said yes, because our only aim was to make everyone happy. However, how can we make somebody happy when we don't know how to be happy ourselves? We haven't even experienced it with ourselves. We haven't released our own humanness, right? And what we've experienced here to know what it is to be done on this earth for those others. And as it turns out, it's basically you heal you within you. And as you grow back into your power, into that super soul that you know that you are, you heal everybody around you. That's why it's all internal work. That's why it has nothing to do with anybody else, right? So, getting to point. So, You understand that. Now, what happens in the family dynamics with these super souls, and you're all going to identify with this. Oh my God, you're so going to identify with this. You're going to feel like you're being pulled in all directions by everyone. Like everyone wants a piece of you, and yet nobody wants you. Everybody wants a piece of you, but nobody wants you. It was so painful, that realization. That everybody wants what I have. I don't even know what it is that I have. That I have this glowing, healing light, shifting energy that I can take on people and shift their energy for them as I muck in their muck, right? They go off like singing, right? I didn't know what I had that they wanted, but I kept feeling I'm being pulled in all directions. All of a sudden, I was the one to go to when I was a kid to talk to. I was the one that was being put in positions to help everybody else. Yet I was never allowed to be heard. I had to pretend that I don't have my own issues or problems to deal with. I had to always put on a smile, right? And make sure everybody's good, right? But I kept denying myself. I kept denying my emotions. I kept denying that there's anything wrong with me. I was the savior of everybody in the family. As depleting as it was, it brought me joy because it felt I was doing that act of service that I felt deep inside. It just never ended. It was a continuous cycle. It never ended, no matter how, whatever my life was showing up for me to deal with, the people that wanted from me, which is everyone, or so I believe, wanted me, parts of me, but didn't want me, right? Didn't want to know about me or my sadness or validate my pain or be there for me. I was there for everyone, but them not for me. It's simply because of me being a super soul, right? So you're all gonna feel this. Just think back to your family dynamics, right? You were the glue of the family. You were the one everybody turned to. You're the one that everybody blamed also. So you were blamed and you were turned to for help. But for some odd reason, you were never thanked or appreciated for that. It was like a given, right? You were like candy, right? And you somehow never, you always were there, right? And the guilt would come in if you wouldn't. The guilt would just show up if you weren't there for them and you said no to your life and your day, and you were there for them and you would do everything for them, for all these people requesting of you, because it gave you that sense of fulfillment, short-lived. That, oh, there it is. Okay, I hope they're feeling better. But then the next day they're not. And there's no real thank you or appreciation. There's more ripping you apart, trying to take more of you, right? And then when you would show up and say, is it my turn now? I'm not really doing good. You'd be blamed. You'd be shamed or you'd be guilted, right? Right? Agree? Okay. I know. You're right. And that's only because they know on a very subconscious level that you are a super soul. That's all it is. The problem was it's a disempowered super soul, right? Where my power was with everybody else, right? Making this person happy, saving this person, giving time to this person, so I was a disempowered super soul. We were all disempowered super souls, giving our power to everybody else. When this person's happy, I feel good again. When this person's happy, when I feel like I did a good job here, it's good again. And then I feel empty. It's like, all the while forgetting that I was meant to do all this for me so that I can glow from the inside out, right? Just and offer my services and my help and my love to those who don't want to pull and tug at me, right? But those who want to just lavish with me as I glow, who know that once they come into my light, they will ease up, they will shift, but I don't have to give up myself for them to shift. I don't have to take on their pain, fix it inside of me, deal with it for them, and then give it back. That doesn't work, right? I'm not we're not made of a machine, like a shifter energy machine. No, right? It's doing it from within so that whoever wants doesn't need to pull at it. And who pulls at it, I know to pull myself back in. Like, no, that's not what I'm here for, right? So when you're here to do that and you start to learn how to truly be in your power, in your authenticity, completely trust yourself. A lot of disempowered super souls do not trust themselves, right? There's this huge lack of trust, massive doubt, right? Massive doubt, right? Because we're very engaged with what others think to believe to be true, because we're ready to jump through hoops for them and do everything for them to make them happy. But it's really impossible to make anybody happy, because they could be happy for the 10 minutes that you gave them the attention, or the 10 minutes you gave them your energy, right? And you started to leak towards them. But then they're not, because that's their stuff to do. That's their work. As for us with our family lineage, as we heal and undo what we have, the ancestral healing starts, right? The lineages start to shift and change, the dynamics. We are healing all of them, but through healing ourselves through our own experiences on this earth plane, right? That's how powerful it is, right? And it feels like a burden, but it isn't. It only feels like a burden when we are leaking our energy everywhere and not knowing that this is what we're meant to actually be doing the work within, because as we unravel the I don't matters that have been there for generations, and we release them and we allow them in the light within us, everything else, all the generations in whichever dimension go right? So it's from here. It's not like this, right? It's not like that. So this is just a quick peek, tip of the iceberg of what a super soul empath is, right? So just know that if you're still depleting your energy and leaking everywhere and hoping, and you have that calling inside, that calling is true. It's truth. However, that calling is supposed to be heading towards you. And then it just naturally pours out onto others. And that's why I do a lot of those videos. It's also to remind me, right? It's an old pattern of being there for others and neglecting self completely. And yet putting myself first, and then it just pours out to others is a completely different feeling. It feels clean, it feels pure, it feels true, and it feels like it's from the divine, right? It's not using the resources I have, it's using the divine's resources, because I'm flooded with the divine resources internally as I cater to me. So this is a quick nutshell of what an empath, light worker, a highly sensitive, energetic being, soul, a super soul is on this planet, right? Okay. And just remember, spend time loving you for a little bit. The love that you have for the whole entire world, pour some of it on you. Give yourself permission to pour some of it on you, because you deserve it. You truly do deserve it. You know, it's time you give it to you. Because actually, your soul is just waiting for you to give it what you've been giving for free to everybody and depleting. That's all it is. Have any more questions? If you want more information about empaths, let me know. I will put it out there. Ask me whatever you want to ask. Let me, share with me your comments. How did you feel? Did this resonate with you? Did it make sense to you? Please leave me your comments. Don't forget to press like. Please subscribe. I love you all so dearly.